Hey, Sofrito Lovers, enjoy this arroz con gandule mukbang. Hey, Sofrito Lovers, this is Ben Ramos bringing you another mukbang this week. Check this out. I have for you some delicious carne guisada. Carne guisada. Let's say Caribbean style, like Dominican slash Puerto Rican style beef stew with a couple of carrots around here. And this is the star of my show. What are these? These are gandules. Gandules. Oh, what is the English translation? Gandules are known as green pigeon peas, or sometimes just pigeon peas, and sometimes even called Congo peas. They're delicious. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about them in a moment. Let me get some food in. I am starving. White rice, gandules guisado. Guisado means stewed, so these are green pigeon peas that were stewed. And then carne guisada. This is beef stew, like a Puerto Rican Dominican style. I got this from a restaurant near where I live called Casa Miradora. And it's basically Dominican slash Puerto Rican food. And they throw in a little Cuban things here and there too. It's like, I'm not going to say fusion, but it's like, different Latin Caribbean dishes. Look. Una carnita guisada. Delicious. Beef stew. The beef is really tender and kind of fatty. And this, of course, white rice and gandules. Pigeon peas. Oh. Okay. Oh my God, they're so good. They're starchy and a little sour and just so delicious. Okay. Usually you guys might be used to gandules being eaten in a different format. See, this is stewed gandules, and I put them on top of a bed of white rice. Usually you guys are used to like Puerto Rican rice, which is arroz con gandule that's been cooked together and stewed down so that the rice is yellow and the gandules are throughout. This is a different version. This is my favorite version of arroz con gandule, when it is stewed gandules, stewed pigeon peas, and white rice. Some folks who like Puerto Rican food are not even aware that this is a way of eating gandules. They're so used to eating it, mixed together, and they call it Puerto Rican rice. I've seen so many mukbangs of people who've tasted Puerto Rican food for the first time, and they call it, I've got Puerto Rican rice. But gandules, so delicious. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, I'm telling you, gandules guisados and on a bed of white rice, that is one of my favorite meals. So good, so starchy, kind of sour. Just gandules have such a unique flavor. If you eat other Caribbean food outside of the Latin Caribbean, sometimes you'll know these as Congo peas, like in Jamaica, Trinidad. A lot of the English-speaking and some of the French-speaking Caribbean call them Congo peas. All of us eat them in the Caribbean and in different parts of Latin America because they were brought to us from Africa through the transatlantic slave trade. So it is an African, well, technically, they were brought to us from Africa, but it is actually gandules. These pigeon peas were cultivated in India and in Southeast Asia. And then through trade and migration, they made their way to East Africa and then West Africa. And when colonization and slavery occurred, they were brought to the New World. And they're a big hit in the Caribbean and in other parts of Latin America. Now, I have to admit, in Cuba, they're not that big of a deal. Cubans don't cook gandules the way Dominicans and Puerto Ricans do. In fact, they grow gandules just for cattle feed or chicken feed. They actually, Cubanos don't like them. They don't eat them. They grow them and grow them, pick them off of the vines, and they give it to the chickens or they give it to the cows as, you know, something healthy for them to eat, full of protein and all that. Meanwhile, Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, we throw these suckers in a pot with some rice and we make some arroz con gandule, or my favorite, we stew them. In different parts of Latin America, sometimes they're not even really paired with rice. Sometimes they're just kind of thrown into salads, thrown into soups, you know, like a random extra vegetable. I mean, it is a legume. It's, you know, it's in the family of beans and all that. But funny enough, I feel like in the Caribbean, we really eat them this way and in mixed rice. But in other parts of Latin America, they're just like a random item that you may throw into a soup or on top of a salad after you've cooked them. There, that's your class on the history and sociology and food history of gandules. One of my favorite. I'm your typical Puerto Rican. I love gandules. They're amazing. Oh, I am so starving. Oh, I have a giant plate of all this rice. I really shouldn't be eating this much rice, but I'm starving. I made the mistake of not having my midday meal, kind of like my midday snack to balance out my blood sugar. So I am starving Marvin right now. Oh. Folks, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're eating something you love. Ooh, I got food all over me. It would not be a Ben Ramos mukbang if I didn't spill a ton of food on myself or on the floor. I got gandules everywhere. I hope you're doing well. Oh, I've paired this with a wonderful Turkey Hill Diet Decaffeinated Orange Iced Tea. This, oh my God. Why are they not making more Diet Turkey Hill iced teas? This iced tea is amazing. Why are they not making more Diet Orange iced tea? This, oh my God. Esto está por la maceta. It is so good. Oh, so good. Diet Decaffeinated Orange Iced Tea. The people from Turkey Hill are brilliant. I hope you're having a good day. My work day almost killed me, but I survived. I thrive and I survive. I am looking forward to a very restful, relaxing night. Sometimes I bring home work from home. I bring home work from work. I used to be able to speak English a long time ago, before my brain became fried every day at the end of working in this program. I didn't bring home any work. I am going to relax, enjoy some TV, enjoy my gandules, enjoy my wonderful carne guisada. Bit into it and like half of it fell right on my shirt. It would not be a Ben Ramos mukbang if I did not drop at least like 30% of the food. Oh, I have a game for you. Some of my students were playing a game. We're always trying to instill in them this concept of getting to know each other. Some kids, being in a program like mine, the kids are brought together by their grade groups. So, you know, we have a group of kindergartners, a group of first graders. Now, within those groups, those kids come from all over the school. So my 5th grade class is made up of kids that come from all over the 5th grades. if there's 4 or 5 fifth grades, we've got kids from all those classes. So lots of kids that come together don't know each other. Oh, delicious. So we're always trying to build community and build a sense of belonging by playing get to know you games. Name games, get to know you games, familiarity games. Again, I used to be able to speak English a long time ago. So I'm actually going to play a game with you that we love to play with the kids. 5 fascinating facts. 5 fascinating facts. I'm going to tell you 5 things about myself that you guys probably don't know. Number 1, something that makes me fascinating is that I have 2 siblings. I have an older brother and an older sister, both of whom are much older than I am. My brother is about 14, 15 years older than I am. My sister is 9 to 10 years older than I am. I was kind of a late in life baby. My mom, I believe, was in her late 30s when she had me. And my dad was in his early 40s. Growing up as a kid, people in the neighborhood, my father, fascinating fact 2, and this is tied to fascinating fact 1. I was raised, I love to say this because it sounds weird, but I was raised in a bodega. For those of you who don't know what a bodega is, the word bodega is a Spanish word. It means like general store. It has a lot of different meanings wherever you go in Latin America, but for many Puerto Ricans and Cubans, it means like a general store, like a little 5 and dime. In New York City, the word bodega, even though it's in Spanish, is used a lot by anyone who's a New Yorker. Will say bodega or bodega. And some people have even told me, yeah, bodega is a store. And I'm like, is that a word in English? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, no, it's a word in Spanish. Bodega is a word. If you come to New York City, you hear the word bodega, they mean like a little store, like a little grocery store. So I was raised in my father's grocery store in my neighborhood. My father, who owned the bodega, is referred to as a bodeguero, someone who owns a grocery store, or in English, a grocer. You own a grocery store, you're a grocer. So I was raised working in a bodega with my dad. And this links to fascinating fact 2, in that since my father had me pretty much really late in his life, in his like early to mid 40s, growing up, everyone thought my father was my grandfather. In fact, due to the fact that my brother was a good 13, 14 years older than I am, many people thought that I was my brother's like kid. My father was seen as my grandfather, and my older brother was seen as my dad. People who knew us knew that that was not the case, but that's what happens when you're a late in life baby. So, fact number 1, 2 older siblings. Fact number 2, my father was a grocery store owner, a bodeguero. Fact number 3, from kindergarten to 8th grade, I was educated in a local Catholic school. So technically, I can brag that I went to a private school most of my education. It was a local Catholic school. My mother wanted me to get a foundation. My mother's very Catholic, like many Puerto Ricans, Católico, Christian Católico. My mother wanted me to have a solid foundation in faith. And my father, I think that was part of the reason, but my father also liked the fact that, there's this concept that automatically private schools, Catholic schools, you'll get the best education better than you would public school. Very debatable. But that's the stereotype, and that's what my father really sacrificed and made sure to pay that tuition from kindergarten to 8th grade. Both my siblings went to Catholic school too. I was the only one that went literally from kindergarten to 8th grade. I think my brother and my sister both went to public school for a period of time, then ended up in Catholic school. There are tons of pictures of me in my little Catholic school uniform and doing all the sacraments and praying and singing, being being a part of all the Christmas plays. I played Joseph, Mary's baby daddy. Well, no, not baby daddy, but you know. That just shows how much I remember from Catholic too. I played Joseph in a bunch of the plays. I used to sing in the honor choir. So, 3 little facts about me. Catholic schoolboy, middle-aged baby, 2 older siblings. 4th fascinating fact is that I went to Brooklyn Technical High School. When I graduated Our Lady of Lourdes, my Catholic school, I was very lucky to be accepted into one of at that time in New York City, there were only 4 specialized high schools. These were high schools where highly competitive for kids that, you know, we were all labeled gifted and special. There were 4 schools. There was LaGuardia, which was the School for Performing Arts and Visual Arts. There was Stuyvesant, which was in Manhattan. Brooklyn Tech, obviously in Brooklyn, and Bronx Science in the Bronx. I took the test and I made it into Brooklyn Tech. So after a good 9 years of my formal education being in the same Catholic school, where I basically went to school about 3 or 4 blocks away from where I live, and basically was in a class always with the exact same people. I mean, I graduated with a ton of people that started with me in kindergarten, you know, kindergarten to 8th grade. I ended up going to a specialized public high school where I had to get on the train and travel a good hour and 15 minutes to Brooklyn to go to the school. Didn't have to wear a uniform, was in a school, or, you know, Catholic school. We were like, how many kids in a class? Each grade always was doubled, so there was about 40 kids. I ended up being a part of a freshman class. I was over 300 or 400 students. I went from a little itty bitty thing to this immensity. Fifth fascinating fact about me. Oh, I'm sorry. Just let me take a break because this is so good. This arroz con gandules popping, and I'm telling you, this carne guisada, so tender, so flavorful. Fifth fascinating fact. I went to my first 2 years of undergrad were at American University in Washington, D.C. So when it came time for me to go to college, I was given a wonderful scholarship, a Frederick Douglass scholarship, as well as a Daily News Ford scholarship to study journalism, and basically a free ride. I went 2 years at American University in Washington, D.C. Long story why I didn't finish there, but I started there. So, you know, when it was time for high school, I left the borough. I left Manhattan and went straight to Brooklyn. And when it came time for college, I left New York State. That was my desire. I wanted that TV college experience where college was where you left and you lived in a dorm and you lived in a dorm room and you lived in a dorm hall and you were far away from parents. A lot of New York City kids don't do that. New York City is chock full of city universities of New York, of various private institutions. So most people, you know, they tend to stay, or they'll go upstate to the SUNYs, which are the state universities of New York. So, you know, you can go a few hours away and then you're able to come back every weekend. I wasn't really able to do that because I was in DC a good 4.5, 5 hours away. And it was a little different, you know. Some people go to SUNYs that are like 2-3 hours away max. I mean, there are SUNYs that are upstate that are way farther. I mean, if you go to Buffalo, you're like 8 hours away. But a lot of New York City kids stay in the city. NYU, Columbia, City College of New York, Hunter, Baruch. I mean, this city is chock full of universities. Most people, the idea of leaving is like, why? I've got a million universities. But this brother right here, I applied to 10 colleges, none of which were in New York City. My safety schools were upstate. I was out. I was ready to be out. We play these games with the kids. And I wanted to, play the game with you, get you to know your boy, your little foodie, your little food historian. That's me. I'll do this again. A few more fascinating facts. I am definitely fascinating, and I'm sure you are too. I hope you like this mukbang, this nice rant, this nice, just sharing some info about me, about my past. I'm going to finish this off camera. I am starving, Marvin. If you like this video, like it, share it, comment below. If you're new, bienvenidos al Sofrito Lovers family online. Bienvenido a la familia. I hope to bring you more Latino food. I had told you I was going to bring some more dishes that are Puerto Rican, Caribbean, Latinx that you're not used to. I know arroz con gandules is something you hear about in all these mukbangs, but not in this style. Like, share, follow me on my blog, sofritoandmysoul.blogspot.com. Follow me on all my social media, Sofrito and My Soul, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope to get to know you soon as well. Mucho amor. Go taste for yourself. Go have some culinary adventures. Mucho amor.